Right, we are live. Can't really hear myself. Mic check. Okay, I can hear myself now. Hope everybody can hear me. Welcome to another Sunday live stream. Sorry, there is no beach in the background, but next week we'll have a beach for sure. Let me know if everyone can hear me okay. Trying out a new mic, and I'll ask this again when more people come in. But if it's a problem with the mic and the sound, I should say, please let me know. But as far as all the readings go, everything looks good. But today we have a pretty short agenda. I got to do some running around here. I'm in New York right now, so have a little bit of running around to do today. I only got a couple more days here, so I have to cut the Sunday live short. And by when I say short, we're talking about hour and a half. Got to cut it off tops, hour and a half. I know we usually do 3 hours or so, but today can't swing it today. But as usual, let me know where you all are chiming in from. Love to hear what cities and countries everybody is from. We do have, I think we have a nice agenda in terms of different subjects to talk about, mostly to do with economics and investment in Jamaica. Hey, Wendy, just seeing your comment. You're saying this mic is not that good, and we should go back to the another mic. Let me know if that's what you're saying. I just want to be clear on what you're saying here. And let me know, everybody else, if this mic is okay or if I should switch back to a different mic. I can't really hear it in my headphones. That's the other negative thing here. So you all would know best the clarity that is kind of coming up here. With the new microphone. Always experimenting, always trying something new, trying to upgrade the experience here. Okay, Steven's saying other mic sounds better. Okay, we're going to switch mics. Point taken. All right, let's go. This is the on-camera mic. How's this mic? Got mics for days here. Yeah, how's this mic sound? Can you hear me okay? Is this better than the mic that was just before? Let me know. In the meantime, I'm gonna get this out to the group. Let everybody know we are streaming. It sounds the same. Okay. All right, then I guess we'll leave it at this then. Okay. Sorry, we'll just leave it right here unless it's a problem. Hello, Veronica. Thanks for chiming in. Chris, always representing Strong Island. Shay McBean, realtor, chiming in from Atlanta. Good to see you. Happy Sunday to you, Stanley, and of course, all the Throppers. Stanley's chiming in from New York. Okay, Chris, thank you for that. Thank you for letting me know. Andrew, good to see you. Chan, call you Chan from Palm Beach County, Florida. Thanks for chiming in. Good to see you. All right. Let's hop right into the agenda. Okay. But keep rolling it in. Keep letting me know where everybody is chiming in from as we go into the agenda for today. Oh, thank you, Veronica. Yeah, gotta wear these every now and then. Give my eyes a break from those contact lenses. Hello, Donna. Good to see you. Chiming in from Ottawa. All right. Okay. So got a few articles here they want to go to. I don't know how many people heard me. We're gonna keep today short. We're probably looking at about an hour and a half. I only have a couple of more days here in New York, so got to do a little bit of running around this afternoon, and I want to be able to squeeze it in. Hey, Camille, chiming in from Kingston, Jamaica. Nice to see you on here as usual. Missy, what's going on? Long time. Miss you too. Tell the kids I said hello. Okay, let's go into a couple economic articles that we have here. And let me pull that up for you all. I'm also going to throw in the comments. Coming in from Edmonton. Good to see you. And I will also share it here. Share my screen, I should say. There we go. All right, this has to do with an agreement Jamaica made with the UAE on double taxation. This came out today. And this was in the Caribbean National Weekly website. And it reads, title is Jamaica and UAE signed double taxation agreement. The governments of Jamaica and the United Arab Emirates have signed an agreement to avoid double taxation and the prevention of fiscal evasion with respect to taxes on income. The agreement was signed on Thursday by Minister of Finance Dr. Nigel Clark and Ambassador of the UAE to Jamaica, Badr Abdullah Sahid Al Matrushi. We hope that the signing of this agreement will be a signal to investors in Jamaica and investors in the UAE that the vision we have for a shared future between the UAE and Jamaica is one of friendship and prosperity, trade, economic relations, and investment, Clark said. The objectives of the agreement are to provide full protection to taxpayers against double taxation and to follow the free flow of international trade across border transactions and investments, as well as the transfer of technology. The perceived benefits include the clarification of taxing rights of each state, avoidance of double international juridical taxation, and the prevention of fiscal evasion with anti-avoidance provisions. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Kamina Johnson-Smith, noted that bringing the agreement to fruition has been the result of deep interest, close dialogue, and coordination. She also noted that the agreement provides a backdrop to and a snapshot of the future of business and investment relations that we aim to foster between both countries. The prevention or elimination of international double taxation in respect to the same income, exchange of goods and services, and the movement of capital and persons constitute a significant component in the bilateral investment outlook, Johnson Smith said. The ambassador thanked Jamaica for its support, arguing that this signing is an especially important agreement between the two countries and that with this agreement, the possibilities are endless. Jamaica currently has double taxation agreements with 15 other countries: Canada, China, Denmark, France, Germany, Israel, Italy, Japan, Mexico, Norway, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, United Kingdom, and the United States. Jamaica is also a party to the CARICOM multilateral agreement and has tax information and exchange agreements with most of the Nordic countries, including Denmark, Norway, Faroe Islands, Finland, Greenland, and Iceland. There are also TIEAs with Brazil and Macau. So, I'm just reading the comments here. So, when I see something like this, and we talked about this before with the UAE coming in, there was a contingent maybe about a little under, I think about a year ago, maybe a little under a year ago. They came in to help with, not help, but to look into investing in Jamaica in like a big major way. They were looking, if you remember, they were looking at basically the two coasts. They were looking at developing Negril and putting major money in there, and then also as far as St. Thomas and Port Antonio, I believe they were looking to invest. So when I see something like this, like I start to think of this is like a foundational, like to me is like this is setting up groundwork for other major investments that are could happen and could be coming down the pipeline, and having an agreement with one country and another to well twofold, like the double taxation aspect part of it, and then also the anti-avoidant taxation part. So it's basically saying you can't use one country's tax code against another for you to basically avoid taxes or anything like that. But the main thing being that if you're earning income here, especially individually, but definitely as a corporation in Jamaica, that you cannot be taxed on that income again in the UAE. And that is a very super, it's, boring, but it's a super pro business move. It's a super pro investment move, an investor move. And I think that that is going to really set the bar for things to come. And again, in my mind, when I read something like this is setting the groundwork for further major investment to come down the pipeline, other than what I just mentioned previously about investing in the grill and the east coast of Jamaica. I haven't heard anything else, but to me, this is a very clear and present sign of the commitment that is being made by the UAE to invest in Jamaica. And I think it's a good thing. I think it's a very, very good thing. And it seems there is a prestigious list, so to speak, of countries that Jamaica has agreements with, these double taxation agreements with, and it looks like the UAE is going to be taking advantage of that. So I think that's a very, very good thing for the country. Let's hop over to the comments here. Veronica Tate says, you're in the Big Apple. Yes, I am here for a couple of days. Justin D says, hey, Throp, tuning in from a rest area in Michigan. We'll have to catch this on replay. Need to keep on the road. Yeah, man, you are always working. You're always on the move, man. Always on the move. Safe travels as you drive all around. Mr. Info chiming in from Atlanta. Hello, Paul McKenzie. Good to see you. Charmin Truesdale says, now I understand the hoodie. Yep. The weather here is actually really nice. Went for a nice run yesterday with my running team out here, Teamwork, and we have a partnership with Puma. So we started at the Puma, the flagship store in Midtown on 5th Avenue, and then we ran up First Avenue, up to Harlem, and then up to the Bronx, almost the New York City Marathon route, a chunk of the New York City Marathon route, which I'll be running New York City in 2 weeks from now, which is crazy. I haven't been running at all because of COVID, because of my ankle injury. So I won't be racing that race. It's just going to be more of a fun run kind of thing. But if you all are, I guess I should start talking about this more. If anybody's in New York or any of the 5 boroughs, definitely come out and cheer. It should be a whole lot of fun. I'll make sure to post about that next week and the following week, the week leading up to the New York City Marathon. So that should be a lot of fun. I never ran New York before, so I'm very much looking forward to it. 2 weeks from today. Crazy. Yeah, I got nasal congestion, but this is allergies. This is not because of a cold. This is allergies, I promise. Trisha Wilson says, hi, Throp, watching from the Bronx, New York, originally from St. Mary. You are doing a wonderful job. Thank you very much, Patricia. I appreciate the kind words. Yeah, not in the grill at all. Stanley Franklin says Jamaica is on the move. Love that. Yeah, it is, and we're going to get into another article that further supports that point. It's it's crazy to see and it's exciting time for Jamaica, very very exciting time. And I was talking about this with other people. It's just also the it's a bit of a dichotomy with what's happening with the challenges that we're having with crime and violence as well. So it's almost like something's going to gotta give on that, because there's just so much positive happening, and then we have these challenges in the country with crime and violence. So it's just one of those things, and it's definitely going to be, I think, one of these points in Jamaica's history that it's almost like a tipping point in a way. And when you look at on the investment side, on the positive side of things happening, I'd like to believe that we're going to move in the right direction, so to speak, for the country's long-term future. The Isaiah says, "Great, I'm watching live. Peace to you. Peace drop. Peace to you as well." The Isaiah, hello, Suzette. Good to see you. Bobby Wendy says, "Money is ready to move." I certainly believe that. Kevin Gaynor says, "Happy Sunday drop. Good to see you, Kevin." Bethel Nelson, what's going on, man? Nice to see you. Always happy to have you on these lives. Stanley Franklin says, "I was born in the 50s and I have never seen movement like this." Yeah, I would say I said this many times before 2022. I've been living in Jamaica 16 years now. And I would say in the last 5 to 7, I speak specifically for Negril, in the last 5 to 7 years, I've never seen this type of money coming into Negril, this type of foreign investment. And it's absolutely unprecedented. And the same can be said for the rest of the country. And then also when you're looking at not only the infrastructure projects that have already been earmarked, but also the infrastructure projects that are currently being worked on and actively being constructed, you're like, wow, so much is happening here. And it reminds me of, maybe not necessarily on this level, I went to Panama City, I think in 2009, and maybe 2008 or 2009, I can't remember. And I remember driving in from the airport, and then I don't know the name of the bridge, but there's this main bridge that goes into Panama City, and you just see the city skyline as you're driving in. It's very clear and present, and as you're looking for it, you see it. And I remember in 2009, all you saw was like cranes, like crazy cranes, as far as the eye can see, like right across the skyline. And then I come back literally 10 years later, I think in 2018, I think it was 2018, 2019, and then taking that same drive in, completely new skyline. And you can tell like the country really did like some heavy investments in the 10 years that I was away at the time. And I feel like Jamaica is in a similar situation, maybe not to that extent. I'm not seeing cranes like crazy, and obviously Jamaica is an island nation. And also, from what I understand with working with different realtors, cranes in Jamaica is not necessarily a common thing that you see, but you're starting to see them here and there. And mainly, again, this is from what I've heard talking to realtors, but mainly you see these cranes from Chinese construction companies. But I'd venture to guess, going back to our conversation that we had on Thursday, talking about the new, and we can bring that up again, talking about the new high rise that's going into on Oxford Street in Kingston, near the NCB building. That's going to be 27 stories. Like the only way to do that is with cranes. So I also were saying that I'm sure there are other high-rise buildings that are coming up behind that building, and I'm sure they've been working on that project probably for maybe close to 10 years. That's my presumption. And so there are probably other developers doing the same thing with different buildings. And who's to say, maybe there's another building, and you know how these things go. When one building beats the record of the highest or tallest building, there's a developer who wants to be even more ambitious and go higher than that. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, if something of that nature will be on stream in the next 3 to 5 years. But nonetheless, point remains, it's like I have never seen this type of investment coming in at this rate so consistently across many spectrums. Miss Cole, afternoon. Good to see you. Hi, Mrs. Bradley. Good to see you on here. I'm not sure if I've ever seen you. Maybe this is your first time commenting, but welcome. Nice to see you. Very good family friend there. And you've all probably seen her do an interview. She moved back to Jamaica from the UK many years ago, and we did an interview together for the podcast. And if you haven't seen it, I would definitely encourage you to take a look. A lot of great gems. ER says hi everyone from Mount Vernon, New York. Hello. Globally Wendy says, I attended the Florida International Trading Culinary Expo on Wednesday, Thursday. Any Jamaican business needs to join the Jamaica delegation next year. Over 50 countries represented. Africa, double exclamation point. Welcome, Nikki Mars. Okay, first live. Welcome, Nikki. Good to see you. Expat Lifestyle says, happy Sunday, Throp fam, watching from Toronto, Canada, originally from Orange Bay. Okay, we're neighbors. Michelle, good afternoon, Throp. Always good to see you, brother. Nice to see you as well. Happy Sunday, Mac, relaxing. Elaine Allen Bradley says, yes, Jamaica is on the move and holding its own on the world stage right now, and the grill is certainly the best place in Jamaica. Improvement and prosperity on the way, for sure. Mrs. Bradley is very strong, super strong part of the Negril community, and she's actually winning a big award for that next weekend here in it's in New Jersey. And she's going to be awarded and recognized for all the great work that she does, like really amazing stuff. I don't know where our Negro community would be without her. So I wish I could go and support you, because I'm going to be in New York at that time, but I got the marathon the next day. So I will be there in spirit, Mrs. Bradley, but well deserved. King Naldo says, good afternoon, Throp and Throppers. Good afternoon to you as well, man. Live from Silver Spring, Maryland, everybody. Good to see you, man. Just says hi, Celebrity Throp from UK. Yes, hello. Yeah, I guess we'll get into the show too. I'm not a celebrity yet. Nobody has seen me on the show yet. Haven't made my debut. But thank you for that, Jason. All right. Got a question here, and then we'll hop into the next article. Nicola did Negril last month, and it's lovely. I mean, loads of tips. I would be curious to know what kind of stay you're looking for, like in terms of like, is it a long-term stay? Are you going all-inclusive? Are you coming with your family? Are you single, by yourself? That sort of thing. And I'll be better able to guide you, as well as the community, with I don't know, accommodations, things to do, etc. I got loads and loads of tips. If you could just give a little bit more information, Nikki, I'll be more than happy to help. We'd be more than happy to help in any way. Juliet Jacob says, hey, Throp, greetings from West Palm Beach, Florida. Hello, Juliet. And Monique Hogue says, hi, Throp. Good to see you, Monique. Moving to Jamaica permanently. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, we got loads. When are you thinking about moving? So, like, one thing I always say is like, I don't know if you know exactly where you want to live, but one thing I think one of the first steps is to figure out where you want to live, and I always recommend figure that out first by maybe trying out a few different parts of Jamaica for an extended period of time. That could be 10 days, 14 days, a month, or whatever you can afford time wise to stay in different areas. Because even though Jamaica is Jamaica, there are just so many different ways of living and doing Jamaica, and not only from and yet in a micro cultural aspect, but also from a topographical aspect. You know, you could be in the mountains, you could be in the city, you could be in the beach, you could be in the cane fields. I mean, there's just so many different ways to do Jamaica, and it also depends on what you're used to. And maybe you don't want what you're used to. Say you living city life now, and you want more of a country life, or maybe you just want to be on the beach. And there are different types of beach scenes in Jamaica as well. There are different types of mountain scenes as well. How important is convenience for you? And I mean relative convenience to like to Jamaica. You know, for example, like living in Kingston, you would have way more access to a variety of different types of restaurants, a variety of different types of supermarkets, grocery stores, that sort of thing. Whereas in the grill, we have only two major supermarkets, which would be um, our new high low that we have, and then also Icon, our quality traders, better known as quality traders. And then we have like a bunch of little mini marts, and even within the mini marts, there are like I would say there are specialty items that they have in those. Like there's this one mini mart that I'm thinking of, Shamrock. They're known for always having like fresh juices. They're on Norman Manley Boulevard. So pretty much every day you can go there and get fresh squeezed orange juice into a a rum bottle essentially that you have, and you can get fresh orange juice every day. So there's that. And then obviously, if you're in the mountain, that's a lot more rustic, I would say, a lot more secluded. Not necessarily rustic. It could be depending on the type of accommodation or housing that you have, but definitely more secluded. And I would say much more in nature. And I know people that live close to rivers, and that's important to them as well. So, and I'm seeing you're looking for more countryside, living off the land, etc. And there's even places in your grill that you can do that, where you can buy a piece of land, you can have small to medium sized farm. I know people that do this, and they are the grill's still considered rural at the end of the day, but it's certainly I wouldn't say super rural, because you have the hybrid of it being a tourist town where there are certain needs of that market. So that is not only there in a very large way existing already, but it continues to be rolled out and continues to be developed in that sense. So I feel like Negril, you get the best of both worlds in that sense, and it's getting better, to be honest. And we don't want to cross, in my opinion, we don't want to cross that precipice of turning into a full-blown city, high-rise, super traffic, multiple lanes of cars and byways and highways, that sort of thing. I don't see Negril turning into that. I wouldn't want to see Negril turn into that. I think there is just something super special that will draw people to Jamaica as a whole. Like, so you can get that city living, but you can always know in the back of their mind, like say if you're living or visiting Montego Bay, that you can go to a very relaxed, low density place like Negril to enjoy it in its the most natural form that we can, relative to the development that we have coming online. Nikki, I would also say that you already know. Sorry, and let me read your comments before I just keep talking. It says, I'm ready here and hope to stay and not return. I know where I want to live. Cool. Yes, countryside living off the land, etc. And hello, Shane. I love coaching. Just want to say a quick hello to you. Good to see you. So maybe so are you asking for your steps, the next steps, since you kind of already made that mental decision? You got countryside living. Are you Jamaican? Are you Jamaican descent? Are you just expat from another country? Just want to live here? That also is important because there are a lot of steps that go with that as well. Some other questions. Okay, I'm missing a lot of your comments here, Nikki. Sorry. I mean, moving from UJ. Okay. So let me know those details, and I'm going to go through some comments here, and we can continue to answer your questions. There we go. There we go. Lane Bradley says, yes, most definitely have to get these under control. More communities have to work together and demand more for their elected officials. I might be taking that comment out of context. Let me go up. Coco and Coco, happy Sunday from Point Village. Good to see you. Good to see you, Junior Char. Mr. and Mrs. Ming, greetings, Throp and Throppers from the Maddens, currently watching from Hanover. Miguel, awesome. Looking forward to Throp X. Excellent. Looking forward to having you. Veronica Tay says, at Elaine, great news on that front, but the killings, crime, and bad roads are out of hand. I hope there will be more priority focus on those areas too. Just came back from there 3 weeks ago. Okay, and then Elaine Bradley responds, yes, most definitely have to get these under control. Most communities have to work together and demand more from their elected officials. Agreed. Donna McKinsey chiming in from Ontario, Canada. Coco and Coco says, how do you buy a car in Jamaica that is not crazy expensive, and do you recommend a motorbike instead? I cannot say I recommend a motorbike. They are just, I mean, you guys are there in the grill. They're just so dangerous. They're just so dangerous, and I couldn't recommend it. As a kid, my dad used to drive a one of those scooters with me and my brothers, not at the same time, but he used to take us on scooter rides, like going up and down the road. And that was like one thing, like I always remember looking forward to, like on Norman Manley Boulevard, and just standing up and my dad sitting down and like driving us up and down. And that was the thing, everybody wanted to get their ride in, and we used to just kind of wait for the next brother to go and come back, and the next brother would wait, and my dad would go and come back. But that was a very, very different time. The roads were much safer, less traffic, less cars, etc., etc. Whereas now, I mean, the road fatalities in Jamaica are just astronomical. And, you know, not to make this morbid, but like the first person I've ever seen die in my life in front of me was a motorcycle accident, and I see them all the time. Especially, well, it used to be a lot worse in front of travelers. It's become a lot better, but it happens all the time. And I'm not saying that you wouldn't be a careful motorist, but it's obviously the other people around you and how unsafe many of the drivers take just unnecessary risk on the road. So that's why I would not necessarily recommend it. To answer your question about buying a car and not being so expensive, yeah, cars in Jamaica are really expensive because of the import duty. For the most part, you're on average, you're going to pay double what you'd pay for it here. And maybe that's the lens that you're looking at from, what you pay for a car, say in North America compared to Jamaica. And you kind of got to get rid of that mindset, because there's kind of nothing that you can do. Although I did have a friend who bought a car in Japan, shipped it in, and cleared it. I don't know if you want to go through that. I wouldn't want that headache, but that is an option. There are people that can help you with that. But, you know, maybe even buying a used car as well. I've never bought a new car in Jamaica, just because, again, like they're just so expensive, like it's crazy. And in my mind, it's just like, what's the point? You know, what's the point in buying a new car in Jamaica? So that's also an option. And there's a huge, I mean, you guys are there. You see the car marts. There's a huge used car market in Jamaica, and you can do obviously negotiate and that sort of thing, and also go through the bank for auto loans as well. Sorry, I don't have a better answer, but that's the best I could come up with off the top of my head. Marie D, blessed day, Sir Throp. Great advice as usual. Thank you. Donna Bryce says, how is the new high-low Throp? I don't know. I tried to go there before I left Jamaica, but it was closed. It was closed really early. It was closed at like 7 o'clock. So I don't know if that's like they're still working things out. I thought that was pretty early close, especially, if people are getting off of work at 5 or 6 o'clock and to do their shopping. So I venture to guess that that's going to change, but I haven't actually gone in and see. It looks nice from the outside looking in, I'll tell you that. Junior Char says, let them know, Throp, to try and not to necessarily go by the name brand areas, but try and know the community, because you can be in a name brand area and have bad neighbors and bad adjacent areas. Yep, good point, Junior Char. That's good advice. Marie D says maybe shipping car is cheaper than buying. Using my friend's example, it was cheaper, but it's also a huge risk. Who's to know that if you get a lemon or not? And then also going through the headaches of the logistics of buying a car that you've never seen before. Like, again, if you're doing the Japan example, maybe you have a car in the States or Canada, you can ship it in. But I would imagine you'd be charged the same duty. But I don't know. I would say I really don't know that side of the business. Rachel A, good to see you. Good afternoon, Throp, from Mom and I. Hello, Rachel and Mom. Nice to have you on here. Camila says, there are so many used car dealers in each parish in JA, as well as looking in the Sunday cleaner classifieds for persons selling their cars. Yeah, exactly. Good point. Veronica Tate, just FYI, I read in the Observer today that 3 Floridians lost their lives on Mobay today. Yeah, I saw that as well. Like, very, very sad. But it just goes to show, like, it's very, roads in Jamaica are very dangerous, and not to scare anybody off. You just have to be a defensive driver, be on the P's and Q's. And I don't speed. I stopped speeding in Jamaica. Maybe not completely, but I speed a lot less. I'll tell you that. Just especially going through Negril, just because like that's where I've seen the most accidents, just by frequency and proximity of living there, right? So obviously that's where that is going to be. So because of that, I'm not scared, but I'm just more conscious. So I just take my time and I chill, like just going to and from home, and don't drive fast at all. Veronica Tate says, by the way, while on vacation, traffic accidents. Suki says, I recommend getting a 4-wheel drive. That too, as was stated above about the bad road conditions. I have a car now, but like my next vehicle, without a doubt, is going to be 4-wheel drive for sure. Because you just never know where you might want to go. And I haven't been to St. Thomas in years, but I hear the roads there are terrible, like really, really bad. And to me, it's, if you can, I would want to have a vehicle that can do, multiple things. And it could just be, and it doesn't necessarily need to be like a pickup truck or anything like that. It could be, maybe like a CRV, like something that's a little bit higher off the ground kind of thing. That's my thinking. Like a Honda CRV or a RAV4 or something like that, with obviously good tires. And I believe, I don't know too much about cars, but I believe some of them do have four-wheel drive. Yeah, Isaiah says, great point, Throp. You have to be a defensive driver in JA. Absolutely. And Marie D says, absolutely, definitely a 4-wheel drive. All right, I'm going to get up to Nikki's questions here and get back into her situation, because I think that helps a lot of people who are considering to move here. When I say here, to Jamaica and live there permanently. So hopefully this is helping multiple people. And if you haven't, please continue to chime in on any of this stuff. So back to Nikki. Nikki says, yes, I've seen I need to do a skills test. I'm from the UK, but have a Trini passport. It's okay. So sorry, and thank you for the live help. No, I'm more than happy to help. I'm going to register business out here, as I'm sure if the UK has a tax treaty with JA, I don't want to pay tax twice. Yes, as we read earlier, there is a double taxation agreement with the UK and Jamaica. So you think it's cheaper to buy a car in Europe or elsewhere and bring it over here? I notice cars are crazy expensive for a lower model. Let me just make sure I got all your questions here. So no, I'm definitely not saying that it's cheaper to buy a car abroad and bring it in. I don't know that to be true. I know that in my friend bought a vehicle, and it's funny, he bought an American vehicle, a Chevy, I don't know the name of it, in Japan, and shipped it to Jamaica. And for him it was cheaper. It was cheaper than buying a car. But the thing too, again, is like, do you want to go through that hassle? Like, that's the main thing. And the time clearing, and then some. I mean, I would venture to guess that you would know what you'd pay to clear that vehicle. I would hope so. But then also, I do think, and I recommend, is just like, you got to think you're in a completely different market in Jamaica than abroad, wherever it is, and you're going to pay these exorbitant prices. It just is what it is in terms of that. And then you also got to think that there are aspects of your lifestyle here in Jamaica. I'm just going to say here, I'm going to pretend I'm in Jamaica now, but there are aspects of your lifestyle here in Jamaica that are far more cheaper than it would be abroad. So, for example, you're probably paying a whole lot less in rent, or if you own, you're maybe not the mortgage, but definitely you're paying a lot less in rent. I would say, kind of going to a panel that I did a couple of weeks ago in Montego Bay, one of the panelists was talking about housekeeping. So, and having a helper in the house, like that, the labor prices that you would pay for having help around the house, or a nanny, that sort of thing, is far more affordable than you would have in here in the United States. I have another friend who has a young family, has a few children, has a full-time helper, and he always says he would never be able to afford that lifestyle and have that help in the United States, especially here, specifically here in New York, that he has in Jamaica. And I was gonna say food is cheaper, but the grill is expensive. I would say food from like a produce perspective is cheaper, but then if you want like specific brands, you're probably going to be paying a little bit more than here in the United States. Like if there's like a specific bagel or turkey bacon, like you're going to be paying a bit of a premium on that. And I'm not saying like double or anything like that, but you're going to be paying a little bit more for like a specific brand that you want. But bananas, apples, blah blah blah. Like not apples. Apples don't grow in Jamaica, as far as I know. Like it's not outside of Jamaican apples, that is. But that sort of stuff, very, very, very cheap, affordable, because all that stuff is made in Jamaica. And on top of that, if you have like even a little plot of land in your front yard, backyard, you can grow your own stuff as well. So my point is there are financial counters to aspects of living in Jamaica that are expensive. And so I would try to maybe balance that mindset of like thinking about like how expensive this vehicle is or how expensive this car is, with it. Like, all right, there are other aspects of my life living in Jamaica that are far cheaper. And then also quality of life as well. And I think that's a big part, or big reason why many people move to Jamaica, is because of quality of life. So, and what kind of price can you put on that kind of thing, But that's just my thought, and maybe just a different way of thinking about it. And I hope that helps, Nikki. If you have any more questions, please let me know. But I'm excited for you. I'm very excited that you're from the UK and you've made up your mind to move to Jamaica. And if there's anything that I can help you out with, please let me know. Please feel free to reach out and let's talk about it. And I know I mentioned this before about if there's anybody in the chat here in the community, if you have like a situation like Nikki here, and if you want to come on and speak about it, like let's do that, because I think we're helping a lot of people here. We got into a car discussion. People were interested in purchasing car, etc. And I think getting specific about your questions, about your situation, can help multiple people. And I know people have reached out to me about their personal situations, and I've tried to help as best as possible. But sometimes it's just a little bit too much to go super deep in one person's situation. And I was like, my mindset is like, instead of helping that one person with their situation, like let's bring it to the forum. If you don't mind sharing, that is, let's bring it to the forum, help you directly with your situation. And in turn, there are probably a number of people who have similar or maybe the same questions that you have, and we're helping multiple people. And then at the same time, we can leave it here on the channel for people in the future to come and view and listen and learn from your specific situation, and they can apply it to their own situation. So again, if there's anybody out there who would like to come on the live session here and would need a little help about questions about Jamaica, moving here, living here, cost of living, whatever it is, more than happy to help. And you'd be helping many other people by helping yourself. So if you're interested, please reach out. Okay, let's get back to the comments here. Rockman says, hey, Throp, have you heard of Anar Pillow? Sorry. I think the girl's perfect for an angry community. No, I've never heard of that. I'm gonna have to look up those words. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Sorry. I will look that up, Rockman. Welcome. Return residents get a discount on sending down their vehicles. I think I've heard of that as well. I don't know the details on that. Good point. And I think in general, you get some sort of it's a one-time situation deal, returning residents. But I don't think Nikki qualifies because I believe Nikki's Trini. You said you have the Trini passport, but returning residents do get like a one-time, I believe, tax waiver when you are basically, if you're like shipping your life to Jamaica, like one time. And I've been told to use this if you're building a home and you want to bring all your furniture and this and that, and you want to ship it down, do it that one time, so at least you can have all that stuff. It's either tax free or have a high reduction in the tax and the tariff. T says to ship a car, it has to be paid off and no older than 5 years, I think. You can ship it as parts if you're willing to pay to put it back together. Oh my gosh, shipping a car in parts. That'd be a lot. But yes, I heard the same thing. A car has to be less than 5 years old if you're going to ship it to Jamaica. Michelle says, OMG, I miss my helper. Hey, Synthwave, good to see you. Welcome says, fruits and vegetables are cheaper in JA. Best to grow as many as possible. Absolutely. Mr. and Mrs. Ming says, shopped at Hilo in the Boardwalk Plaza. It's nice. Did not see a lot of foreign brands, which is fine with me. The entire plaza is nice. I agree. So I haven't been to the new Hilo Plaza, but I shop at Quality Traders, and they have a lot of international brands. That's what draws me there. They have a lot of international brands that I'm used to. Again, you pay a little bit of a premium on them. They also have international produce as well. So you'll get blueberries, you'll get strawberries, apples, like red and green apples that are I don't think grow in Jamaica. I think that we have strawberries in Jamaica, but I don't think in abundance. But those sorts of produce Quality Traders does have coming in, and as I said, they have also other foreign brands that are available for you. So that's why I like going there. Nikki Mara says, yes, that makes sense in terms of vehicle costs, V cost versus cost of living. Yeah. Nikki says, thanks so much. Yes, I'll drop you an email. Yeah, please do. Would love to have you on if you're interested. Welcome says, I made that move also. It was easy for me as I'm always in Jamaica. Hey, Fernando, thanks for chiming in. I'm going to be on the beach next Sunday. Keep that in mind. Wait, no. Yeah, next Sunday. Yeah, next Sunday we'll be on the beach. Welcome says, yes, we get a one-off tax-free shipment as return residents. Cool. Just confirm that for me. Charmaine Truesdale says, I'm a candy maker and I plan to visit JA in April. I want to get candy molds while there. Where could I go? Candy molds. I have no idea. And when you say candy, you're like a sweetie kind of thing. That's what you mean. I have no idea, but that's awesome because one thing that we always knew, I always knew that we need more of in Jamaica is manufacturing, and we need a better export market for sure. I've been saying this for like a very, very long time. We need to produce more. You know, that's going to be one of the best ways that we can grow our economy. But I don't know candy malls. I can look into that for you. Just gonna take a screenshot. Coco and Coco asks, what is the recommended way of hiring a trustworthy housekeeper and gardener? I would say through recommendation. That's the best way. And just ask around. You know, that's not something I would say you put in the gleaner so that you're looking, hey, I'm looking for so and so. Like you want to get a recommendation from a family, not a family friend, from maybe a friend that has a family member that's trustworthy or something like that. That's how I've done it, because obviously that person, that helper, that gardener is going to be, you know your ins and outs, and that's a super, super trustworthy position. And you want to mitigate against any type of risk as much as possible. You know, of course, nothing is guaranteed, but that's how I've always done it, and it's worked. I mean, I feel like that's worked out for the most part. I can't think of any crazy situation. I mean, we've had some that just didn't work out just through fit, but in terms of concerns for theft or safety or anything like that, nothing of that nature has occurred. So I would definitely recommend asking somebody that you know in your community or a neighbor if they can recommend somebody. Nikki Marr says, yes, I agree that there needs to be way more exportation from Jamaica. There are also many resources here that are not being monetized. It's crazy to me. When I move here, I want to help people start their own business to help and support communities. That's awesome. That's a great, I mean, that is like so necessary. And then that's a message that I've been preaching for a while in terms of helping people grow their business. And also, like, I have like a dream of creating like some sort of startup incubator to very much taking a feather out the cap of the Branson Center for Entrepreneurship in Kingston, where they help startup companies, like literally teach you like how to formulate like a P&L to scaling your business. And that's what I think a lot of small startups need help with, is like the fundamentals of doing business, and also the fundamental disciplines needed to run a successful business. And then also to, at some point getting to a point where you can help them scale their business and grow their revenue. And I think that's a great idea. And I always say, like, these sorts of ideas for those that are thinking about moving to, or maybe already decided and made up their mind to move to Jamaica. These are the sort of thinking, progressive thinking, that have a huge impact. And I don't know where you're thinking of moving, Nikki, but you bring that idea and you bring that energy to a place like Negril, like, you're going to have like a very, very meaningful impact, especially on young people and also in the startup culture. And I think we need more of that. So I certainly commend you on your ambitions to do that. ER says, coming back to Negril for a month of January, hoping to look for land to buy. Hopefully, you will be doing another beach cleanup. Would like to participate. Yeah, I think we are going to be doing a beach cleanup in January. I don't know the date, but we're gonna, like, now that we're living with COVID, so to speak, we are going to be doing more beach cleanups on a regular basis. So I'll definitely keep you posted with that. Charmaine Truesdale says, "Export sounds like a business venture. You just may see me at Travelers." Yeah, there is there's a lot of room for exports, for manufacturing. Um, the only thing with manufacturing, and I mentioned this before, and everybody probably already knows this in the chat, is that the utility cost in Jamaica is extremely, extremely high. And that is the main deterrent of, I would say, big businesses coming to Jamaica and setting up shop, is because it's so expensive. And yes, you could do solar and wind, and maybe certain parts of Jamaica you can do. I don't know about hydro, but that it would, the capital investment on that to get that up and running would be far, far higher than doing it in, say, Mexico, for example, where their cost of utilities is a lot lower. Jamaica has, I think, the highest per capita electricity cost, per capita, not per capita. I'm blanking here. The wattage per hour, like, the kilowatts per hour, like, we have the highest in the world, or one of the highest in the world. And that's what really holds us back from attracting big manufacturers. But there are ways around that. I mean, we do have manufacturing here, so it's not impossible. It's not impossible at all. Roger Lawrence says, "I think there are so many people and organizations offering that service, but people aren't taking up on the opportunities, or maybe, I guess, they don't know that the options are out there. This is a business development." Um, there are, but then I also think that there is an aspect of a naivete, of, like, maybe they don't even realize that they need that type of help. And I think it's one of those things that you'd have to go out in the community, as much as ridiculous as it may seem, is like, hey, and just, like, really, like, pulling people in, like, hey, we have an accounting course that we're starting, like a basic accounting course that we're starting on Monday. You should come. It's free. And like, I don't know if that was your model, Nikki. I don't know if that's, or even Roger, if, like, if that's what you're thinking of, doing these free classes or something like that, or you're looking to make it into a business and have people come and pay. I think at a certain level, and I'm not sure what your level, like, I think at a certain level, people would pay for this. And I also think once you start having success with other successful students or successful people who've gone through your course or gone through your training, then that's going to spread the word, and you're going to have more and more people coming in. But good point. Good point. Mark 5 says, "Good afternoon, Throp. Relatively new listener. Find the show informative and inspiring in ways. I love Jamaica and flirt with the idea of living or retiring full or semi-full time. Love Jamaica. Forgot to mention, hailing from Brampton, Canada. Good to have you. Thank you for the comments." And yeah, it's not, it's not a bad idea to do, like, semi kind of, doing back and forth, especially being there in Canada. Maybe you can create your life so that you can get out of Canada during the winter time, the winter months, especially February, as we know it's frigid up there, and being able to have a life in Jamaica. Maybe it's a business, or maybe you can vacation for an extended period of time or work while being in Jamaica. I think that's a great lifestyle. And we're lucky enough to live in a world and in a time where you can create that for yourself, and you have the opportunity, you have the possibility of doing that for yourself. So I hope that you're able to do that if that's something that you really want to do. I hope so. Cool Breeze says, "Hey Throp, great show as always. Are there any opportunities you know of to invest in the real estate developments in JA? Most seem to be private." I mean, there are. So like there are investment companies that have REITs. So like REITs, and I'm not recommending this company in or any way, like, but not BlackRock. What is it called? BlackRock is an American company. First Rock Financial. I can't remember it. Somebody help me with that. But there are different investment trusts that you can invest in. But this is purely from a you're not investing in a particular investment, you're investing in a pool. So this is more of a financial instrument that you're investing in, not necessarily the investment that's going up in Montego Bay kind of thing. So there's that aspect of it. And I've talked about this before about investing in the Jamaica Stock Exchange. And you can do that from here and from abroad. Anywhere in the world. You don't have to be a Jamaican citizen to invest in the Jamaica Stock Exchange. And if you are, say, bullish on Jamaican real estate and you want to invest in that, again, from a purely financial instrument standpoint, you can do that through the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Now, if you want to get into a specific investment development, like an actual physical real estate development, yeah, most of them I do know is private, but you can invest in a way of buying an apartment or buying a couple of apartments on these new developments and getting in pre-construction. We talked about, I can't even remember the name. Let's see if I could find it, if I have it up here. But there are several, and again, I'm not recommending these. These are just investment opportunities or real estate developments that are coming on board. So I'm just trying to look up some different examples here. So, again, I'm not sure what way you're thinking of investing. So I've given two ways. The other way is like maybe reaching out to the part. Obviously, this is a shot in the dark, but maybe reaching out to the partners of a real estate development organization and say, "Hey, I have X amount of dollars. I love what you guys are doing. I want to be a part of it. How can we make this happen?" Then that's just kind of creating your own luck, so to speak, and creating your own deal for yourself. So that would be kind of the three ways that I would recommend it. And that's purely from a general business standpoint. So this is, so I'm going to bring up two, again, these are not recommendations. These are just examples that I'll show. Let's bring that up. So this is one that's outside of Negril. This is in Little London, West Isle Housing Development. And this is 15 minutes from downtown Negril. And this is a new development that is, and I'll bring up the map. Of course, you're going to bring up the map. I'll show you where it is in a second. and we've gone through this several times in several past live streams, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But let's get down to the development itself. So this is how it's laid out here on the left. You can see where they are. They're much further along, and get the idea, and it's a 27 unit, or 27 lot development, and you can buy one of these, and this could be your way of investing in this development, and you can rent it out, or you can use it as a vacation home and hold on to it and allow it to appreciate, because that area is going to develop. It's already starting to develop, and it's one of those things of you getting it early, and we know that the value on this land is going to appreciate it. So that's West Isle. I will leave that at that. And well, we'll get into that in a second, like when we touch on the next article. But that's like the best I can say to look into, and to look into those three ways if you're looking to invest in real estate. Like those are like the three ways that I would say that you can do that. And then Cool Breeze says, investing through a REIT, no, you cannot personally recommend. Yeah, definitely. I'm not personally recommending anything, anything at all. Charmin says, thanks for the information. Sounds like a collaboration could be made in a business already established there. Stay blessed up. Yes, thank you. You're welcome. Audrey says, you can invest directly through most financial institutions, JMMB, Proven, First Rock. The returns might be on the lower end, though. Yeah, First Rock is what I was thinking, not BlackRock, which BlackRock is a huge company. But yeah, those are different ways that you can invest in real estate in Jamaica, without, again, you not directly investing in a particular development. But those are different avenues that you can go into, look into it. Not saying that you should invest in any one of those in particular, but those are just options that you can consider if that is an investment instrument that you are interested in. I know Welcome asked me another question. Sorry, I didn't want to. Okay, Welcome asked, what made you move to Jamaica? So I want to ask, so I'll answer the question in a second. But Nikki, I'd also, if you're still on, what made you want to move to Jamaica, and what kind of made you click over as to, like, hey, I want to move here, set up shop, etc., do business, help the community. I'd be interested in knowing if you wouldn't mind sharing, if you're still here, Nikki, what made you move here. So I moved to Jamaica because to join my family's hotel business, and I did that 16 years ago, right out of college, and I worked directly with my dad and also my brothers for a number of years, and then went to grad school. After I graduated from grad school in Boston, my father retired and handed the business over to my brothers and myself, and we've been running it. That happened in 2011, and we've been running the business ever since. And that is how I came to Jamaica and how I started doing business in Jamaica, and what also keeps me there as well. Not keeps me, there are many things that keep me in Jamaica and allow me to call Jamaica home. So, and I'm very lucky and feel very privileged to call Jamaica my home, and then also to be able to come back to New York, as regularly as I do. And I know we were talking about the weather before, but I actually like this weather. We're like 50 degrees, 45 degrees. I think this is really, really nice weather. I enjoy this. Jamaica can be a little warm, a little humid. I specifically need to train in. I don't like training in Jamaica. It's just very, compared to New York, like it's just a very warm and humid place to train. but it makes you a better runner, like a far better runner. I'm a very strong runner because of training in such very harsh conditions. The real Nordic Black, I just saw your comment. Hello, good to see you. Thanks for joining. Welcome says that's good. So you're Jamaican, really? Yes, I am. I am Jamaican and Fijian. My dad is born in Jamaica, from Jamaica, born and raised in Jamaica, and my mom is from Fiji, and I am half and half. And then I was born in America, born here in New York, and raised here, and then moved to Jamaica. So very proud of both my cultures and both my heritage of being Jamaican and Fijian. So let's move to the next article. We did this. Okay, cool. Okay, Nikki responded, and then we'll go into the next article after this. Nikki Mar says, hi, yes, I am here. I'm currently here on vacay for the first time and extended my stay. I have friends here, and two of my besties are planning on moving here, so it makes sense. And I love the weather. Okay, good. Everybody has their reasons for making that move. So congratulations. That's so awesome. Very happy for you, and also happy that you have already a small community of friends that are making the move and that you can rely on, and that they can help you through the process as well. And like now you have us as well. You have this community to rely on and to help you through the process as well. And if you're moving to Negril, can help you introduce you to more and more people, good people as well. So congrats again, Nikki. HOA says the weather is great if you live on the hills. Nights are actually very cool, especially in the winter months. I agree. I don't mind. So I don't mind the heat. I actually like the heat, generally speaking. But just training in the heat, Rachel, like even and like in it, like the thing, if like training in the mountains, like you're going to be on mountains going up and down, sort of thing. It's just like a running thing, and I'm not complaining. Like I said, it helps me become a better runner at the end of the day. So it's a net positive for sure, but it can be very brutal, especially when I first started running, when I kind of didn't know what I was doing. I went through some very, I would say, horrific experiences. I was just like, man, I don't know if I'm going to make it through. But you become stronger. You become so much stronger, like as a runner, and I also think as a person, because you're testing your will, you're testing your boundaries, and you're pushing them further, and you realize how much further you can go. So I think it's a positive thing. But I agree, Nikki. Like living in the mountains, it's like really nice. Like you don't even need a fan. I remember I stayed at a great house. Did I stay there? Yeah, no, I did. Did I stay there? No, I don't think we stayed there overnight. But I remember being up at a great house in Saint Anne, and the breeze was just amazing. It was just so cool being up there, overlooking pretty much Ocho Rios for the most part. That's how high you were, and you don't need AC up there. I can tell you that you don't need AC up there. Good point. Yeah, welcome has a good question for you, Nikki. You decided to move to JA on your first visit. I was thinking the same thing. That's crazy. Good question. We'd like to know. And Nikki says, yes, I've always known I wanted to move to the Caribbean for the sun, sea, and lifestyle. Anywhere in the Caribbean is home to me as a Black person. Very cool. And welcome response says, yes, from as did I, so did I, from a very young age. He says I'm very decisive and know what I want and like. Good for you all. That's pretty amazing. Stanley Franklin asked Nikki where you're from. Nikki says she's from the UK. And Stanley Franklin says Jamaica is the place. Awesome. So cool. All right, let's get into the next article here. Almost. I just want to wrap up these comments. Kaden Pat says, you have to tell us about Fiji. Have you visited and do you have family there? Yes. So I have tons of family there. My Fijian family is bigger than my Jamaican family by far, by far, by far. So I have aunts, uncles, cousins, and cousins and cousins and cousins for days in Fiji, and also in Australia, and also in New Zealand. So there's a big part of my family and part of who I am, my heritage in that side of the world. I was there in 2017. That was the first time I went there since I was a kid. I haven't been. It was like 30 years at that point since I had been back to Fiji, and it was. It felt like home. Like honestly, it really, really felt automatically felt like home. Very, very, very similar aspects of culture to Jamaica. Their Fijians are extremely, extremely warm people, and my family made me feel so much at home, and I felt very comfortable. I was staying at my aunt's house, and even though I hadn't seen her since I was a baby, like I felt so comfortable, like automatic, and it is so beautiful. I have to say, it's like more beautiful than Jamaica. Like at least the sea, it looks like a postcard, and it's an island nation, so it's 300 islands. So it's a very much a very big part of the culture is like going from island to island sort of thing. And we did that once, I believe. We went to another little small island, and some of them you can kind of almost you feel like you can swim to, like from one island to another. That's how many there are and how spread out it is. And the food is amazing there too. The culture, like a lot of like super super traditional in many 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 ways. And I want to go back. Hopefully, we go back next year. Like that's what we've been saying, and we've been planning with the Fiji family here in New York that we're going to be going back to Fiji next year. It's a priority for all of us, and I don't know when that's. I hope that happens next year. I hope that happens. I really do, really, really do want to make it happen. And my family does come here to like here in New York to visit. Some of my cousins have come to Jamaica to visit as well, which is always cool. Love hosting family here, there in Jamaica, especially if they haven't been before. But yeah, a lot of family in Fiji. Thanks for the question. Okay, thank you for the question. Rachel says, I'm one of those. On my first visit, I made the decision as well. JA would be the final destination. That's so awesome. I didn't know that, Rachel. That's so cool. So cool. Good for you. Good for you. Looking forward to meeting you and mom and hear about all your Jamaica plans, even though you've shared a lot of them. Howell McCaden says, I just left Negril 20 days ago and I come back in 32 days. Awesome. I love Negril and hope to move there someday. I hope so too, Hal. That would be so cool. Rain96 Smith says, hey, Throp, I watched the first episode of your reality show. Looks like you get the hookup. What made you want to do it? Getting into a reality show. So, good question. So, for those that don't know, I did a reality dating show over the summer, and it just started airing on Wednesday, and it's airing again this Wednesday at 10 p.m. on BET. So, if you're interested, you can watch it. It's fun. We decided we're going to do these live stream watch parties. So we'll do it again on Wednesday. Oh, unfortunately, I'm actually going to be I'm going to be on the West Coast. So I don't know. We have to figure that out. We have to figure out Wednesday's watch party. I'll get back to you on that. Get back to you on the watch party. But I mean, honestly, why I decided to do it, like I was legitimately looking for like I thought it'd be an opportunity to meet somebody, looking for a connection, and then I also thought it would be a lot of fun to have a once in a lifetime experience, because I know like this is not something like I want to make my career out of or anything like that. To me, it's just like, when am I ever going to get another chance to do something like this again? And I had to hit the iron while it was hot. And the third biggest reason too is just like I love the creative side of what I do. I love learning about cameras, about editing, sound, all of that stuff. Like a huge geek on that stuff. And so to me, it was also like I'd be able to see a production on a level that I have never seen or experienced before from behind the scenes. And I very much got that. Like I learned so much just by observation, like like this high level, top of the food chain production. And that was the third pillar, if you will, that kind of pushed me over the edge to decide to do the reality TV show. And I hit, I would say, in many ways, I hit all three. You know, I met some really awesome people that I think are going to be my friends for life, doing amazing things with their life. It was a ton of fun. I really enjoyed myself, and it had its ups and downs for sure. And then again, being behind the scenes and then also part of the scenes as well, but just seeing like the camera works, the types of cameras, the lenses, the filters, the mics that they use, like, and like I'm also asking questions as well. And so they, like, a lot of the guys were very open to like teaching me and and answering my questions. So those are like the three main reasons why I did it, and it was fun. I enjoyed it. Thank you for the question, Lorraine. Shane Love Coaching says, I agree. Jamaica / Caribbean and Pacific Islands are very similar in terms of landscape, way of life, and warm people. But I think most Pacific Islanders have warmer temperature, though. They do. They do. I would say if we were to do like a difference, if you will, the Pacific Islanders they're like very warm and welcoming, and like I feel like Jamaicans are more, like, a lot more jovial and what would I say? Definitely a lot more jovial and like even more pronounced. Whereas like in Fiji, it's a little bit more reserved, but it also has that very warm, welcoming feeling and aspect to it. If that makes sense. If that makes sense. But yeah, good point, Shane. I love coaching. Nikki Mar says, how long does it take to travel to Fiji from JA? And do you have any tips on cheap travel between the Caribbean islands? Sorry, I know you have to get on to the next topic. No, not at all. Love the questions. Feel free to keep them coming. Uh, Fiji to Jamaica. Oh my gosh. You're probably gonna have to fly to. Yeah, there's no. At least I don't know of any direct flight. So you're probably gonna have to fly from Jamaica to LA. That's if you can get a direct flight. More than likely not. I think American Airlines does an LA trip. I don't know how often that is, but more than likely you're gonna have to go Jamaica to, say, Atlanta, Atlanta to LA. Then maybe you can get a direct flight from LA to Fiji. But to um, we went from LA to Australia to Sydney, and then Sydney to Fiji. So, I mean, that's pretty much 2 days. Like it's 40, at least 48 hours of traveling for sure, between waiting for flights and that, and being on the plane. The plane ride is like, from LA to Australia, I think is 10 hours, if I'm not mistaken. It's a long trip. That's all I got to say. Even if you are in the States, it's still a long trip. I think you asked another question. Oh, any cheap way to travel islands? Unfortunately, I think this is a huge business opportunity as well. We talked about this recently of inter-Caribbean travel. It's extremely poor, extremely poor. There are certain islands that have that you can go back and forth pretty frequently. Like I know during the summer, Cayman and Jamaica has flights. So you can get a flight from, I believe, Montego Bay, if I'm not mistaken, to the Cayman Islands. I did that like 5 years ago. I met my cousin there. And then there are some that you can get to. I know there was a TUI flight that was, and this was weird, but it was from some Scandinavian country in Europe to DR to Jamaica, and then you can do the reverse, DR, Jamaica, DR to Scandinavian country sort of thing. So there's that, but in general, inter-Caribbean travel is very poor. It's very expensive. Usually you have to go to Florida and then pop down Miami, pop down to whatever island that you want to go to. Again, I think it's a huge business opportunity. If somebody can figure out the logistics of turning that into a financially viable business model, you're going to do phenomenal. Thanks for the question, Nikki. And yeah, feel free to have them coming. Junior Nelson, good afternoon, family. To see you. Lorraine 96 Smith says, I'm not a reality TV person, but it's good that you enjoyed the experience and have gained positive knowledge from it. Thank you. And I too am not a reality TV person either. The last reality TV that I watched was Jersey Shore. That was like in college. That was like a thing that kind of started the whole thing off. But that's kind of about it. I can't remember a reality TV show that I watched that I've been just been a part of and watching the drama unfold and that sort of thing. I think it was Jersey Shore. Gisette said, what do you miss about the US, if anything? Oh, there's tons I miss about the US. One thing that when I get asked this question, that always comes to mind at first is, in one word, would be efficiency. And efficiency of kind of just the simplest of things, of even going into a bank and you just in and out lickety split. Whereas in Jamaica, you could be there for a few hours to do a simple transaction. And that's just the way it is. You never go into a bank thinking, oh, I'm going to be in and out. Like, no, I'm prepared mentally. Like, it's a minimum hour commitment that you're going to the bank to do whatever type of business that you are doing. Although there have been a lot of improvements in online banking and mobile banking in Jamaica. So even, now I pay my rent through my mobile bank. Now I do transfers, to other businesses, other vendors. This is me personally. We've been doing that with the business forever. There are, what would I say? You can do Dropbox deposits now more frequently, more easily, so that avoids you having to go in the bank to do a deposit. So that's more convenient. There's Wi-Fi in the bank too, because you're going to be there for a while. So there's free Wi-Fi. Is that also positive? Other things that I miss here, I would say more creature comforts than anything else. We talked about brand availability in the grocery store in Jamaica. There are brands that I'd be used to here that I don't have in Jamaica. And and this is like first world problems. Like I don't miss it. I'm not like, damn, this is crazy. I don't have this. And I guess not anything that I even think of at this point, because there's so much counter to that is positive, where that we talk about the weather. The weather is beautiful. I live in a beach town, very lucky to live in a beach town. The food is amazing. The convenience of organic produce on a regular basis, like every day in your face, is just part of the lifestyle there. I eat much healthier in Jamaica, like no question, just because everything there is organic and it's plentiful and it's available. What else would I say? And then also, maybe you're just tired of, like, especially in a city like New York, of this, like the go, the high pace. You go to Jamaica, things slow down a little bit. Things are more chill, a little bit more laid back. But again, with that laid backness, it comes a lack of efficiency. One thing I also don't like about Jamaica is like the bureaucracy of getting things done. And so it's improving, but when you're used to something, especially like when I first transitioned from New York to Jamaica, it was so frustrating mentally, because my brain didn't know or understand what was happening because I was just so used to a particular type of process here in New York that I wasn't accustomed to or get accustomed to in Jamaica. So those are a few things I would say that I miss. And then of course, my family here in New York, yeah, my mom, my aunts, my cousins, my friends, my childhood friends I grew up with. I think that's a big part, especially when I was in my early 20s and just graduated college. I felt like I missed out on so much. My friends going out, everybody getting their first job, going happy hour after work, the struggles of climbing the corporate ladder in America, like that sort of thing. And you just kind of like, man, I want to be a part of that, and want to be in the mix. And I would say that was a phase or stage that I went through at that point in my life. But uh, those are the things that I would say that I miss about being here in the States. Thanks for the question. Nikki Mars says, "Wow, that's a lot of travel, huh? Blimey, talking about traveling to Fiji or maybe even traveling to other islands." Shayna Love Coaching says, "Yes, I agree with that statement. JA being more jovial and Pacific Islanders being more reserved." For sure, for sure. Synthwave Pro says, "In 2004, my wife and I wanted to move to Fiji. We opted for Panama instead. Lived there for over a decade. Maybe we'll revisit the Fiji idea someday." Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. I will say things were very expensive in Fiji. That's one thing. And I think it's just islands in general are expensive. Um, yeah, I think just islands in general are just super, super expensive, and everything has to be imported there. That like again, Fiji is a nation of 300 islands. But that's awesome. I'm glad you got that experience in Wave. That's so awesome. And now you're in Panama. We talked about both of those in our Panama. I was talking about Panama City earlier, and their rapid development, and now we're talking about Fiji. Pretty cool. Nikki Morris says, maybe I need to think about that because I love travel. Got me thinking now. Well, I would also say Jamaica is it's that's another like super like amazing positive that is not spoken about living in Jamaica is the access to the rest of the world because we're such a highly sought after tourist destination. We have direct flights to like so many. Sorry, cut out for a second. I was talking about the travel from Jamaica. Like there, we have access to so many major countries and cities around the world. That's one thing that is not talked about a lot in Jamaica. So like you can go all over Europe. You can get to South America very easily from Jamaica. There's direct flights from Panama. I believe they're working on one. If I think they have one directly to Peru as well. Uh, the obviously United States, Canada. They were working on a direct flight to Nigeria at one point. I don't know if that's still happening. They're working on. We used to have this was a while ago, but we used to have direct flights from Moscow to Montego Bay. We're working on a flight from um, damn, uh, I don't remember the airport or city, but from China to directly to Jamaica as well. Like, and the next article we're going to talk about further to that point, the relationship between China and Jamaica are growing stronger and stronger and stronger. There's direct flights from Jamaica to Cuba. And so if seeing the world is one of your priorities, which is mine as well, Jamaica is an amazing, amazing hub to do that from. There is this interview that I did with Kim, and the name of her company is Kimmy Travels on Instagram, and she does these affordable travel trips from Jamaica. Like I'm talking about $1,000 to for like a 7 day trip to, or maybe a 10 day trip, $1,000 10 day trip to like Paris and three other European countries, accommodation, flight included. And this is like, what? That's crazy. And it's like, and she does it like regularly. She did one to Dubai She did all over Europe, South America, does them to the States as well. And it's very, very possible. And she does it all out of Jamaica. So don't let that be a hindrance to you at all. Jamaica is an excellent, excellent hub to travel and see the world from. Chain Love Coaching says, when I used to live in Hawaii, to travel to inter-island flight were so cheap. Also, the distance from Honolulu to Kauai is the like 30 minutes for less than $100 round trip. I'm not too sure in 2022 though. That's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. I wish we had that in the Caribbean. I wish we had that in the Caribbean. Like somebody's got to do that. Some companies got to come in at some point and just connect all these islands where you can go to Barbuda, Dominican Republic, Trinidad, Tobago, Antigua, like, and you can just go boom, 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 boom. You know, it's like taking a bus kind of thing. And it has to happen at some point. Cool Breeze Anointed says, thanks for your insights and info. It is still possible to travel to Cuba from Jamaica. Yes, it is. It is. Rachel A says, can I ask a question about ThropX on this forum? Please do. Please ask away, Rachel. No, ask. You don't have to email. I'd be more than happy to answer. Deborah Cohen says, you can be in the bank all day. That is for sure. Welcome asks, how long have you lived in JA? I've been here in Jamaica 16 years, since about a little over 16 years now, yeah. Art Gordon says, I was at Travelers in August for a couple of days with hopes of meeting your dad and presenting my cultural proposal for kids. Later understood he had hip surgery. Hope he is better. I'll be back. Yeah, my dad had hip surgery over the summer, and which is successful, but he's still recovering, still doing his PT and everything like that. Yeah, sorry you guys didn't get the link, but hopefully next time you come, we can make that connection happen. And Nikki says, yeah, at Kimmy Travels. Wow. Yeah, definitely check her out if you aren't already. Like, take a look on Instagram. She does a really excellent job. Welcome says, and if you can't fly like myself, there's many sailing options from JA to Florida. I was also going to say, I used this example before talking about Greece and they having they're made up of many islands as well, and they use ferries to get around everywhere. I think high-speed ferries is another way of doing this. And I remember being on a ferry for like an hour and a half going from one island to another, like passed out, so it's not necessarily always like a short trip kind of thing. So it's possible. It's possible. Nadine Lee says, good evening. Blessings, Trop. Good to see you, Nadine. Thanks for being here. Rachel, ask your question anytime you like. I'm going to pop up the next article. Where is this? All right. Let's hop into this article real quick and we'll get back to the comments. So this one came out this morning. This was on News Caribbean Jamaica, Caribbean National Weekly website. This came out today, as I mentioned. The name of the article is, let me throw that in the comment section so everybody can read along if they'd like. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has welcomed an investment amounts to 300 million Jamaican by Chinese technology company Huawei, with the inauguration of its new office space located in St. Andrew. The complex has 9,000 square feet of space with digital low-carbon solutions and a modern work environment for staff. In his address at the recent ceremony, the Prime Minister said the new space signals further expansion of the company's footprint locally. He lauded Hawaii's significant investments and contributions to the sector, which have aided in the digital transformation of Jamaica. The company provides a cutting-edge connectivity technology and has played an essential role in the growth from GSM to UMTS wireless technology and continues to improve Jamaica's data penetration with LTE deployments. He said, adding that the company's investments signal strong confidence in Jamaica. The investments, the investment will be a benefit to both Jamaica and the region. We welcome this investment and commend Hawaii for taking this decision and look forward to their continued growth in Jamaica and in the region, the Prime Minister added. He cited the company's commitment to protecting the Jamaican environment by ensuring that the building has a low carbon footprint and utilizes renewable energy resources. Hailing Hawaii is as a critical partner in Jamaica's digital transformation, the Prime Minister said the company provides indirect ICT jobs for more than 300 persons in Jamaica. Hawaii provides support to customers both locally and regionally and has continued to support the government and our economy and our ongoing quest to digitize Jamaica, he said. For his part, Vice President of Hawaii Latin American region, Michael Zufang, thanked the country for its support over the last 15 years as the company established its roots locally. We are committed to the continued growth and development of Jamaica, he said. Ambassador of the People's Republic of China in Jamaica, Cheng Daozhang, said the relationship between both countries remains strong. Noting that this year marks the 50th anniversary of the establishment of the diplomatic relations between both countries. As a strategic partner, China continues its cooperation with Jamaica, the ambassador said. Hawaii has been operating in Jamaica since 2007. Interesting. So with that, I would say this is kind of going. This to me, this aligns with the last article of not that article. This article aligns with this article of Jamaica when UAE signed double taxation with agreement, and it just kind of just further amplifies the high interest by large government and private investors in Jamaica that continues to roll out, and like I continue to see more and more of these little signs of these things happening. Let's get into the comments real quick, and we'll come back to commenting on this article. King Naldo, thank you for the donation. Thank you very, very much. American Airlines inaugural flight to Errol Flynn Airport in Oshkosh will be on November 5th. The airline also said its launch of this service to the third destination, Jamaica, will help the demand to Jamaica. Great point. I think that's huge. That's huge for Jamaica, and I would venture to guess that they are trailblazing in a big way, and there will be other airlines that will come on board and will do the same. And the more flights to Jamaica, the better. And especially by a large carrier, one of the big four carriers in the United States are coming to Jamaica. So great point. Thank you for bringing that up, Naldo. And it feeding into many of the things that we're talking about here. Hey, Paul, happy Sunday to you as well. So Paul says happy Sunday to Throp and Throppers. I'm here tuning in from Sacramento, California. Awesome. Okay, Rachel asks, thanks, Throp. My flight gets in late, so we won't be able to register in the allotted time. I won't be able to get to the hotel until around about 11 p.m. And get instructions the next day. I see. Okay, I will make note of that. So I'm actually sending out that email this week. I'm trying to get everybody's flight information, but I've made note of it. When I do send you that email, if you could just put it in writing, but I'll make note of it. I'll make sure that happens. I will. We have these swag bags that we're giving out. So I'll make sure that your swag bag is either at the front desk or in your room when you check in, and that has a bunch of Throp merch in there, Throp X merch in there. And also it will have your registration name tag, I should say, and lanyard. So that'll be in there as well. And you'll be registered, no stress at all. Just focus on your travel, enjoy your travel. And in the morning, the following morning, everything will be sorted and UML will be just fine, promise. Okay, let's get back up here. Yankee on Purpose says, Throp, do you feel like you have integrated well into Jamaican culture and have been accepted by locals? Your accent is still so American. I know that can cause a disconnect sometimes. For sure. So I embrace my Americanness. You know, it's very much who I am. I'm also very Jamaican at the same time too, for sure. But I embrace all aspects of my personality and my upbringing and my experience, and I feel like I'm accepted for that. And I was speaking with somebody. I'm actually going to have them come on the podcast. Um, she has moved. She moved to Jamaica from America, Nigerian descent, and loves it here in Jamaica. Lives here, but she was having a hard time acclimatizing, and still is having a hard time acclimatizing. She lives in a more rural part of Jamaica on the other side of the island, and she feel like she's being treated differently as a foreigner and as a Yankee and that sort of thing. And I always say that because your name is Yankee on purpose. Unique on purpose, and I called you Yankee on purpose, but it's unique on purpose. And uh, that's kind of her experience that she's been having. And I was just kind of giving her recommendations off of my experience and understanding. I mean, hopefully giving her some understanding and hope for adjustments. And I also I will also say, like, my dad had also paved the way for me and my brothers a little bit, because I remember my dad telling me and my brothers that he had a hard time being accepted in Negril by his peers because he was viewed as an outsider, even though he was full-fledged Jamaican, born and raised, but he was a returning resident and came back and started a business. And it took time for him to be accepted and be very much a part of the community. So I kind of had lucky that I had that, like, my dad kind of led the way in that. And so there was a certain element of acceptance along those routes, but I also had to find my way and, in a sense, not prove myself, but allow people to accept me for who I am, not for accepting me through my dad, if that makes sense. So to answer your question more directly, I do feel 100% accepted into the culture, and, like, more so my community than anything else, because I'm very big part of the community, and I try to be, in terms of helping to grow my community and being a part of it and being a part of the decision making process, in especially in the development of Negril, whether that's through the Negril Chamber of Commerce or through the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association. I was very much a part of the leadership team of both these organizations, and that was my way of being a part of the growth and the forward movement of Negril and of my community. And then there's the aspect of my family's nonprofit organization, the Negril Education and Environment Trust, where we do give back a tremendous to the community, specifically children, and providing not only educational materials and tools, but also doing education classes for both students and parents on Saturday mornings at our resource center. And that sort of thing helps in a sense of helping me build my community, but also I'm out there. I feel like I'm a part of the community. I feel like I'm part of helping people change their lives, yes, but also, like, I'm thinking specifically about children. That's why I hesitate, like, putting them on the right trajectory and putting them on the right path and being a good example for them. And I take that responsibility extremely, extremely seriously. And that's kind of my way of doing it. And my dad has his way in terms of how he established the nonprofit organization and how he runs it and how he gives back. That's his baby, and that's what he does, wakes up every day and does every day. And so that is my way of giving back and showing my presence and being there and being available to my community, especially, again, to the young to children, but especially young boys and young men. It's just hopefully being a good example, for them, and being there for them and supporting them in different ways that maybe a teacher couldn't, or a not superior, but let's say a teacher couldn't, or maybe their parents couldn't, sort of thing. So that, I would say, helped me get be more accepted, like across the board. So thank you for that question, Unique. I think that was a good question, and allowed me to kind of like elaborate a little bit on my experience. And then, do I feel a disconnect? I mean, it does. I mean, it's, being. I'm reading your last sentence here. I know that can cause a disconnect sometimes. Maybe in the beginning, and I would more so say that was because, or due to my own ignorance as an American. And I've told the story before of just trying to, very much in a negative way, trying to force a square peg in a round hole kind of thing, and imposing my Americanness or my ways of doing things on the culture, especially when it came to, as we talked about, missing aspects of efficiency in American culture counter to that, living and being in Jamaica. And you realize there's certain aspects of the culture, or of the way of doing things in Jamaica, that you cannot change, and that it will not change overnight. And it, I think I had a hard time accepting that, and it took me a while to get to that point. And that's what I would say created the disconnect, and that's what also created the frustration that I was experiencing, especially the first year that I had moved to Jamaica. So I think the more time that you spend there, the more ingratiated that you become and integrated that you become into the culture, and then you will naturally build a community around you. And in many ways, that I do think there are certain people that do look at me still as an outsider, but it's hard to label me as such, because I am so much an insider and so much a part of this community. Very, very difficult. It would be more so somebody who maybe moved from another part of the island and moved to Negril, and like, hey, you're not Jamaican. And I remember like last month, this lady, she doesn't live in Jamaica, but she's Jamaican. And I was telling her about my podcast and what I do. And she's like, oh, you're not Jamaican and you're doing this, congratulations. And like patting me on my back. And like, she kept saying like making sure that she distinguished and distinctified, like, you're not Jamaican because you weren't born here. And she didn't say as directly as that, but basically that she was saying. And she said it on multiple occasions. And I was just like, you don't know me. You don't know what I do with this community. She didn't know my channel. She didn't know what we do here in the Throp community. And it was a little annoying. Like, I'm not going to lie, but I'm just like, you don't live here. And then she starts complaining. She's like, oh, I would live here. I would move here, but the crime and this and that. And I was just like, I felt like, man, maybe I should start questioning your Jamaicanness and how Jamaican you really are, kind of thing. But obviously, I wasn't that petty. I was thinking that in my mind. Didn't go to that in any way. And to me, it's just like, there shouldn't be, even if you are not Jamaican, like literally no bloodline or anything like that, and you find Jamaica to be your home. You find that maybe in your soul, like, man, you were born in the wrong country, but there is something about Jamaica that draws you there and makes you want to live there and be a part of the culture. And there are many people who are like Americans as they come, or European as they come, who've been living in Jamaica for like 20 years. And I think they are very much Jamaican. And they do so much for the community as well. And yeah, they're not Jamaican by blood, they're not Jamaican by birth or anything like that. But man, in so many other ways, they are Jamaican. But long rant. Hope that answers your question, and I try to answer it as directly as possible. All right, let's go into some other comments here. Thank you again for the question, Unique. Veronica Tate says, I think I missed something here. Okay. Veronica Tate says, I totally agree with you about banking system in Jamaica. It is horrible and needs to change. I just experienced it on my last trip. I spent 3.5 hours in there and still didn't get what I wanted. because they requested so much information / paper just to update a debit card. Go figure. God bless America. No, fair enough. Yeah, there are definitely days and experiences like that. 100%. I was gonna recommend calling ahead to find out exactly what you need in terms of paperwork, etc. But many times that doesn't even help. I would say, that's extreme. 3.5 hours and you still didn't get through. That's very, very frustrating. And honestly, that's unacceptable. Like that's really, really unacceptable. But don't, I would also say, don't not document and complain. Like, and to me, this is how change happens. This is like, writing to the manager or calling the bank manager or and letting them know like what your experience is, etc. I think that's how change happens. Channel of Coaching says, "LOL, my daddy teasing me by calling me a Yankee at times because I'm the only American out of my siblings." So there you go. I get that too. Like people call me Yankees. Even my dad has called me Yankees before too. Chris Shaw says, "Not born in JA, a bit of discrimination. Ironic." Yeah, I think so too. I thought so too, and I didn't. Um, yeah, I didn't. I was like, I live here. You don't live here. I felt like that's what I was thinking, and I just left it at that. I didn't want to obviously get into anything. Shayna Love Coaching says, "Clack back throp." I should say clack back throp. No, I'm not going to do that. But I know you're trying hard not to be petty. I can be considered more Jamaicans than some who left at an early age and don't plan to come back. I've come across a few. Yep. Yeah, I think the same. And you don't want to hold that against anybody, and that's not my intention or wasn't my intention. I didn't want to make her feel bad or anything like that. So, I left it as is. Rachel A says, honestly, I've thought about that as well, dealing with the ignorant group not accepting me as Jamaican. Yeah, it's so silly. It's so silly. And when I heard the lady who I was talking about who lives on the other side of the island experiencing the same thing, and it's just like, people who say, I mean, I don't necessarily think the lady who's talking to me was being hurtful, but with the lady that lives on the other side of the island, like, I feel like the people, what she was telling me, the people who were expressing how they felt, like, they were like trying to be hurtful and they were trying to like put a line in the sand. It's like, I'm better than you or whatever because I am Jamaican and I was born here, that sort of thing. And I don't let that stuff bother me at all. And why you're here, why you're wanting to move to Jamaica and why you're wanting to be a part of the community that you're going to join, and that's all you have to focus on. And then there are mean people everywhere, and there are people who sometimes just don't have anything else better to talk about, and that's it. They have nothing exciting going on in their life, and they try to use that situation or circumstance against you. And don't let it bother you at all. HB says, I was born in JA and raised in New York City. Jamaicans call me American, even though I mention my Jamaican culture. Yeah, it's like, all right, yeah, it's just like, yeah, what makes you Jamaican? Like you said, you were born in Jamaica and you live in the U.S. Like, all right, so does that not make you Jamaican? Like, get out of here, get out of here. Like, you're Jamaican. Like, there's no question, no doubt in my mind, and nobody has any right to question that whatsoever. Kind of crazy that we're even talking about this. Unique on Purpose says, big up yourself for standing firm, Throp. I'm born and raised in Spalding's, Manchester, but once this British accent erupts out of my mouth, my Jamaican card is immediately revoked. Yeah. And I'm thinking of like times that has happened. It's always outside of Negril, because nobody knows. Nobody like really knows me, but I mean, you still stand firm. You still stand firm on certain things, and how you approach, and it's also like you don't want to be taken advantage because you're not Jamaican, you don't have a Jamaican accent, I should say, and but you know right from right, and you know how you should be treated and how you should be accommodated in whatever situation, whether it's in the market, whether it's in the bank, whether it's standing in line, whatever it is, you know right from wrong, and you know what you're entitled to and what you deserve, sort of thing. But yeah, I know exactly what you mean with the accent. What are you gonna do? I was born in Jamaica and treated like a tourist until I bust a patois. We must chat dirty. Chris says, I feel you. You gotta do what you gotta do. Channel coaching says, at HB, did they consider you too Americanized? Some of my family members, when they first arrived in the US, they tried hard to fit and would be accused of becoming too Americanized by family. And that's like, this is kind of getting more on like deeper on a psychological level. And this is how like people, and maybe some of us do have this experience of this identity crisis of, who am I? What am I really? What do I claim? And we're like, we're a makeup of our experiences. We're not like this homogenous people that were not enslaved and we've had our culture for many millennia. Like that's not the situation. Like we were dispersed all over the world and separated, and our culture was very much taken away from us. And we are now made up of, many of us, multiple hybrid systems, right? So many people in the comments talking about born in Jamaica, raised in the US, born in the US, raised in Jamaica, blah, like all of this. And it's just like, who's to say what makes, is 50% Jamaican make you Jamaican? Do you have to live in Jamaica to make you Jamaican? Do you have to have, what amount of years would you have had to spend in Jamaica to allow you to say that you are Jamaican, or have somebody call you, not say that you're not Jamaican, that sort of thing? Like who makes up these rules? Like those, that's kind of ridiculous that people are even thinking like that and kind of drawing this line in the sand and maybe putting themselves on a pedestal, just like that lady did to me the last month. And it's just like, and I felt it, I really felt it. Like she's making sure, like, yeah, you're not Jamaican. Like, I'm like, okay, all right, whatever, lady. So yeah, can be, again, create these identity crisis in people. And it's, and we're all grown adults here, but think about young people, think about children. And I, like me growing up, like I was always, I'm Jamaican, I'm half Jamaican, half Fijian. Like I was very proud of both, half Jamaican, half Fijian. I'm also very proud to be American, very proud to be born and raised in New York. I'm proud, so proud to be a New Yorker. Like that's one thing, like I'm very, very proud of. Like I am a New Yorker at the end of the day, for sure. But there's also my heritage, my bloodline is Jamaican and Fijian. Like nobody can take that away from me, no matter what. Channel of Coaching says so many nuances, like the motto, out of many one people. Exactly. And we need to start thinking and acting like that in real life. Out of many one people. Thank you for that, Shayna. Nadine Lee says, my son loves Jamaica, but he's American. We spent 4 months in Jamaica. Now I can't tell him he's not Jamaican. There you go. He's Jamaican. Sima the Move says, I'm Jamaican born, but in America, I am Jamaican. In Jamaica, I am foreigner. Yeah, right? You are Jamaican for sure. Out of many, we are one. What an appropriate name. Holathrop, or Olathrop, excuse me, got the New York in me. Olathrop. Negative people are like a virus. Just don't feed into the negativity. You are Jamaican based on your culture. One love. Absolutely. Thank you for that. Out of many, we are one. KP, I don't think they are serious about you not being Jamaican. They like to tease. No, I can tell you that lady was serious. That lady was serious that was speaking to me. And then with the example with the lady who lives on the other side of the island, that the way she was explaining to me, it seemed malicious. It seemed malicious, almost like kind of, we don't want you here kind of thing. And And then she's also, again, an American. I didn't mention this before, but she's American with Nigerian descent, and she's dating, her partner is a Jamaican man. And so she also felt that the community feels like, oh, you're taking one of ours away from us. You're taking one of our Jamaican men away from us. And she's, I mean, that when she told me that, I was like, that's crazy. You know, I was like, that's crazy. But I'm not going to question, a woman's intuition, and I can also see that happening as well. I'm not ignorant to that. King Naldo says, unique on purpose. When did Spalding's annexed away from Clarendon to join Manchester? Unique on purpose says, my guy Spalding's upon the border. I'll leave you all to talk about that. Out of many, we are one says exactly who creates these rules. I don't know. I have no idea. Channel of Coaching says so many nuances like mine out of many one people read that already, but worth reading again. Maxing and relaxing. It's all about point of view on how Jamaican you are. You gotta let it roll off. Oh, I think I deleted your comment. Oh no, okay. You gotta let it roll off your back like you did. Exactly. Globally Wendy, always a Jamaican. Forever. When is the rest of the real estate series dropping? We got to get back to this. Oh, Naldo. King Naldo, did you hire Forever about to ask this question? It's not. I said this before. It's not dropping until after DropX. Just don't have the time to edit it and put it together, unfortunately. So hopefully by December. But thank you for the question, Forever. I do owe you all of that. I've been promising it for quite some time. Ms. Cole, my cousin and friends laugh at me when I speak patois. I was like, what? Mind you, I was born there. This is also, maybe this is why I have a complex why I don't speak patois, because of this. Like I just don't because I'm super self-conscious. M says, this is a real thing. I'm a first generation born in America, but I speak patois and I can code switch to defend my Jamaicanness easily. That is by internationally immersing myself in my culture. Yeah. But should you really have to go that far? Should you have to go to that extent? But I suppose if you can, that's cool. Like I can't, I'm sure if I really practice, and patois does come out every now and then for sure, but not to the extent that you could probably do it. And just from the confidence you have this statement, I don't think I could do it as well as you. Miss Cole says, or they come out at me twanging, and I'm like, I can understand you perfectly well. Like in patois, same thing with me. Like I can understand everything in patois, everything. HB says, at Shane, I love coaching. Came to America when I was 9 and now 40. I don't have a strong Jamaican accent, but may maintain my Jamaican culture. Absolutely. M says, I always question those people who try to alienate those in the diaspora, especially when then live in America and have young children. They love to dress them in JA regalia. Go figure. King Naldo says, at unique on purpose. Okay, well, might as well annex Maypen to Manchester, my sister. At M, defending your Jamaicanness is definitely the correct term. The divide is also in the UK, where the loud yardie culture is considered authentic Jamaican, and if you fall outside it, dog yam ya supper. I could see that. I could definitely see that. And I also feel, and unique on purpose, maybe you can. I haven't been to the UK in a while, but just like watching from TV shows, YouTubers, like UK YouTubers, UK TV shows that have Jamaican elements to it, and also even in like UK rap, like there's like, it's like almost exactly what you said. What was your exact words? The 65 is also where the loud yardie culture is considered authentic Jamaican. Like I feel like there's like almost like it's put on like even harder in the UK, almost and then and you correct me if I'm wrong here, that like how the hip hop culture has become black culture in America in many ways, whereas as and on the opposite side of the pond in the UK, that Jamaican culture is almost the hip hop culture of the UK. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Like I just from an observational standpoint, just purely watching on the internet, I feel like that's what it's becoming. Like that's like to be Jamaican in the UK is to be cool. Like that's what it means to be cool. Like kind of like same thing with hip hop in America. Please correct me if I'm wrong on that. This is just my observation. Unique on the move says King Naldo, us Manchesterians will claim everything. Country Gal says, I love when people tell me that I'm not Jamaican. I cuss them in patois until I run out of breath. Good for you, Country Gal. Good for you. Everybody's laughing at Country Gal. Let's say what is M says also it seems to be only a Jamaican thing. No one looked at Jennifer Lopez and calls her a white American, but rather a Latina Puerto Rican, despite being born and raised in the DX. So true. So true. They definitely claim her with open arms. Like that is kind of crazy. Yeah, maybe this is a Jamaican thing. I don't know. Shane Love Coaching says, tell me why my uncle used to twang so hard. My cousin used to crack up. And Shayna Loves is LOLing at Country Gal. Not until you run out of breath. You're weak. Oh. M says, Swap, it's getting past that self-consciousness that unlocks the respect from these people. Not that you have anything to prove, but truly it's already in you. I have to get past that as well. Thank you for that. King Nala says, at Throp, we are currently planning several protests for that missing part 2 series. Forever is on point, sir. I can't argue with you all. I cannot argue. I've been promising this. No argument here. Before December, you'll have it. Veronica Tate says, say it loud, Throp. Nikki Morris says, yes, I agree with Jamaican culture being the black hip hop of the UK, non-black Jamaican synonymous with being black Caribbean. Yeah, that's the sense I got. Cool. Good to know that I'm accurate and on point with that observation. Vinci for Life says, wait, what are we talking about? I want to input. I'm late. We're talking about being Jamaican and people not considering certain Jamaicans because they either weren't born in Jamaica or they were born in the US and moved to Jamaica, or they were born in Jamaica and then moved to the US. And, what does it mean? Like, who's to say who's Jamaican and who's not Jamaican, sort of thing. That's the discussion that we're having here. Crazy. It's like, how long do you have to, are you not American if you move to Europe for a long time? Like, come on. Like, and this was stated above, like, who said it? M was saying that with giving the example with Jennifer Lopez, that the Latina Puerto Rican community claims Jennifer Lopez as their own, even though she was born and raised in the Bronx. Crazy. But in Jamaican culture, it's not. We like to draw a line in the sand. Interesting. Rachel says, being Jamaican was cool in Miami back in the day. Not sure if it still exists. I'm out of the loop with the cool stuff these days. Me and you both. Throp, Yankee on unique on purpose. Sorry, calling Yankee unique on purpose. Throp is deep. The UK black population is small because Jamaicans were the largest migrant group. We influenced the culture massively. To be African was considered massively uncool, and people were teased. Interesting. Interesting. Chris PW says, I'm late. No beach today. No, we are in New York today, Chris. The beach is here. You don't want me to broadcast when the beach is here. Nick on Purpose says, most blacks would assume a Jamaican persona to avoid being bullied and ridiculed. Oh, wow. I didn't know it was that bad. Oh, crazy. Nikki Morris says, exactly, Unique on Purpose. The amount of times I've had to tell non-black people that not all black people are Jamaican. King Aldo. King Aldo says, you better be on that protest in December, Shayna Love. Protest won't be necessary. The video is coming out. Hey, Gizzy J. Nice to see you. I'm late. What are we talking about? We're talking about a few different things. I asked, we're talking about Jamaicans being certain Jamaicans questioning many of our Jamaicanness in this chat and in this community. There are some people who were born in Jamaica and lived there until they're in their adolescence and moved abroad, and other Jamaicans questioning their Jamaicanness are saying that they're not Jamaican. Are they calling them Yankees? Are there people who were born in the States and move and live to Jamaica, and people questioning their Jamaicanness as well? So we're talking about that, and then we're also talking about the impact of Jamaican culture in the UK. And I asked the question to UK. There are people living in the UK who have experienced my question was like, is Jamaican culture in the UK that of the hip hop culture in America? And that's kind of the last thing that we're talking about here. And both Nikki Mars and Unique on Purpose are basically breaking down and explaining to me because they live in the UK and know a lot more about that culture than I do. Quick catch up. Thanks for your question, Gizzy. King Now says, Shayna Love, yes, darling, I'll buy your ticket, of course, but don't be embarrassed when I attempt to pay with my EBT food stamp card. Okay, Shayna will be there in spirit. Deborah Cohen says, everyone in the UK thinks they're Jamaican. That's funny. Oh, man. Sorry, guys. We are way over the time limit. We're supposed to do an hour and a half. We're like over 2 hours in at this point. This time really, really flies. Deborah Cohen says, it doesn't help with Sonia Richards Ross and Real Housewives of Atlanta. Keeps on saying boop, boop at every opportunity. Or like bop, bop at every opportunity. Oh, so funny. I feel like I missed a few comments here. Oh, yeah, Gizzy. There you go. Do you think, is Lucy a good area to do Airbnb? Yeah. There's a lot of, I would say, there's like a lot of construction happening in Airbnb. A lot of construction happening in Lucy that would warrant Airbnb. So there is that aspect of it in terms of housing. And I know at Ocean Point in Lucy, which is the big development basically across the street from Grand Palladium, there are a lot of owners there that are doing Airbnb. I'm not sure how well they're doing, but I know they are Airbnb. Many of those homes are Airbnb. So take that with a grain of salt. See, Mr. Anamu says that bop 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 drives me crazy. I can imagine. Chris asked, "Did you cover any news in the papers?" Yes. So I went over 2 articles, Chris. There was one. I'll throw them in the comments there, and you can take a look. This first one was on Jamaica and the UAE signing a double taxation agreement. And then the second one was the Prime Minister welcoming a multi-million dollar investment by Hawaii. I'm not sure how. Yeah, I'm not sure how you say that, if I'm saying that correctly. But those are the two articles that we went over so far. We didn't really get into the second one deep. We just got into this discussion here. All right. M says Yankee on purpose. That's so interesting. In South Florida, where I'm from, there is such a melting pot of Jamaicans living outside of Jamaica, probably some of the highest in the world. Yep. All right, got a bunch of discussions happening in the chat. Okay, I think I gotta wrap up here. I didn't realize we went so long. It's almost 4:00 here. I gotta get going, peoples. We're almost an hour over my time limit. It always goes by so quick. It's always a lot of fun. But I gotta cut this one a little bit short. Like I said, I gotta do some running around here. While I'm in New York, I only have a couple of days here. I gotta get back. But should be doing a live stream on Wednesday for the reality TV dating show, but I'm going to be on the West Coast. I don't know how that's going to work, so I'll figure that out. I'll make a post about it, but we'll be doing... No, there won't be a Thursday live stream this week. Sorry. There's going to be I'm going to be traveling on Thursday, so unfortunately there won't be a live stream. So I'll let you... I'll keep everybody posted on Sunday. We'll do on the community page, but we'll be doing Sunday for sure. We'll be doing Sunday for sure. Sorry. So this might be the only one for this week. Chris, I just see a question. You're talking about double taxation. That means that you can't be taxed on profits twice. So you can't be, like, if you have a company in Jamaica. So I do it in, like, so like I can't be taxed on, even though I'm an American citizen and I'm earning my income in Jamaica, I can't be taxed by the Jamaican government and the U.S. government again. That's what double taxation means, like when you have double taxation agreements, and vice versa. Jamaican, if the Jamaican is working here abroad in the U.S. and they're paying statutory deductions, they cannot be again taxed by the Jamaican government. So, okay, let me just wrap up these comments. Oh, okay, everybody's saying goodbye. So I'll let you guys know about, so we'll be definitely Sunday live streaming for sure. Wednesday and Thursday are very questionable at this point. I will let you know. ThropX continue to move forward. Everything is coming together. Like I was telling Rachel earlier, if you've already signed up, you're going to get an email this week. We're going to be asking about your flight information. We just kind of want to get a general idea of what time that you'll be arriving at the hotel, just so we're fully prepared. And also, we're going to be, we're going to do food choices of meals beforehand, but now we're going to do it specifically when you come to the hotel, so we can have the menu set out for everybody. So that is kind of the update on ThropX. We're going to be getting ThropX email out tomorrow. We missed it last week. We just had a lot going on, and we'll get that out for you tomorrow. So we will keep you fully up to date on everything happening with that. But thanks everybody for joining today's live stream. Sorry again to cut it a little short, but we got to keep it moving here. Great seeing everybody. Lively discussion as usual. Great comments. Thank you all for your questions. Everybody have a great week, and I will see you in a week, if not less. Bye, everybody. Bye, Throppers. Bye, King Naldo.